What's up guys, so I was asked to compare the Mi 9T to the Google Pixel 4, and really what he's asking is should you go with a flagship or should you go with a kind of mid-range phone, and is the flagship worth the extra money, $800, $300. Now let's go ahead and talk about the design with both these phones because it's very interesting because they're pretty similar. For an $800 phone and $300 phone, you have a glass and metal design, which is very interesting. The Mi 9T's design I think looks better. I've always thought the Pixel phones have kind of an awkward, kind of unique design. To me, the carbon fiber kind of looks better. The triple camera setup looks better. On here you kind of have an iPhone-ish kind of thing with a dual camera setup, but they both look pretty good. They feel good in the hands, very premium feeling, and they both have these nice little accents. The black version on here has a little white button, and with the Mi 9T you have a little red button with little red accents and stuff like that, which is pretty cool on the camera, power button, stuff like that. Now when you flip these guys over, you'll notice a big difference. You have a smaller display and you have a full screen display. This display has a really big forehead on it, and you have pretty much a bezel-less design with the pop-up camera, which I will show you. Just pops up like that. That's how they're able to achieve this design. Very cool, and it also acts as an LED indicator. And just to show you how small the Pixel is, I can just put it right inside of the Mi 9T's display, and it's not even covering the whole display. That's how small this phone is. I'm not going to knock it for that because I actually like smaller phones. I'm not a big fan of like really huge phones, but this display on here is fine. The size is fine for me. I just wish it didn't have these big bezels. If it was a full screen display, it would be a really great display in my opinion. But let's talk about the resolution and the specs. So they're both AMOLED displays. The Mi 9T's display is a full 1080p display, 403 for the PPI, and on the Pixel 4 you actually still have a full 1080p display, 1080 by 2280 with 444. So all that means is that when you look up really close, it looks a little bit more clear and sharper on the Pixel 4 because it has a slightly higher pixel density, and it's also an OLED display. Alright, so one of the advantages to the Pixel 4's display is the 90 Hz display. It just makes the phone really smooth. Now you do have to force 90 Hz. It's not enabled, by itself. But people ask me, can you really tell the difference from 60 Hz to 90 Hz? And yes, it's extremely smooth. And once you get used to 90 Hz, it's really hard to go back. On 60 Hz, it actually makes it feel like just like it's a little choppy or something like that. Now the Mi 9T is not choppy or slow at all, but 90 Hz does make a big difference, guys. Now if you are a video watcher and you watch a lot of media on your phone, the Mi 9T is where you would want to go. As you can see, the display, the viewing experience is just so much better on a bigger phone. But if you like smaller phones, then you might want to consider the Pixel as well. But I'm looking at both of them, and they both pretty much look identical color wise and quality wise. They're pretty much the same. Now the speakers on the Pixel 4 are, in my opinion, some of the best dual speakers you can get. You have dual speakers on here and you have one single firing speaker. The Mi 9T speaker is not bad by any means, but it's just way louder and much more clarity on the Pixel 4. And already when you compare the two, it just seems so much more hollow because it's missing so much depth to it. One thing I have to give the Mi 9T's speaker is that it kicks really hard. It's got really nice bass. But it's almost like night and day in speaker quality. Now for the processor, you do have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 730 on the Mi 9T, and you have the Snapdragon 845 on the Google Pixel 4. You have the Adreno 618 on the Mi 9T. You have the Adreno 640 on the Pixel 4. So I have all apps cleared. We can go ahead and run a little speed test, and we'll just go ahead and launch YouTube at the same time. 3, 2, 1. and you can see they're almost identical. So that's what I tell people, you know, don't get caught up in the whole spec thing, because in real life they're not really like too off from each other. Let's try Twitter. 3, 2, 1. See, like they're almost instant. So you know, you'll be thinking, you know, I'm spending extra money for a really faster phone, but in reality it's actually not that much faster. Now, the Pixel 4 is IP68 rated, which I really love, so if you drop it in water it'll survive. The Mi 9T is not. And some other features, both these phones don't come with an SD card slot, which is very sad. But the bad thing with the Pixel 4 is that you only get 64 gigabytes of storage, which sucks. So you get 6 gigabytes of RAM, but 64 gigs for almost $900 phone, it was $850 after tax, is just stupid. Now with the Mi 9T, you actually get 64 gigabytes as well, and 6 gigabytes of RAM. So you know, you're paying, you know, cheaper amount. So it didn't really matter to me, the 64 gigs, but on a phone that's this expensive, it should have been 128, hands down. So now let's go ahead and talk about the cameras on both phones. So with the Mi 9T, you have a triple camera setup, a 48 megapixel wide, an 8 megapixel telephoto lens, and a 13 megapixel ultra wide. Now on the Pixel, you have a 12 megapixel wide and a 16 megapixel telephoto lens. Google decided not to throw in a wide camera for whatever stupid reason. They just decided not to throw it in, which made no sense. It would have took them nothing to throw that in. So the Mi 9T does have that advantage, having that ultra wide camera. So that's something to remember. Now this is why you're going to be really buying the Pixel. So I would say the only reason to really get the Pixel over the Mi 9T would be the camera. So if you're somebody that takes a lot of photos, then you know you're gonna want to spend that extra money to, you know, enjoy some really high quality pictures. Now the Mi 9T takes good pictures, but it's almost nowhere near the Pixel 4 in quality, in color accuracy, and just the depth of the photos. It's just very sharp. It gives off some really nice crispy images. Just right here you can see the color of the rocks, everything is right. The Mi 9T kind of washes stuff out a little bit. Now here's another one of the doorknob, and as you can see, the Google Pixel 4 keeps the color. The Mi 9T kind of washes out and kind of loses quality as you zoom in. So you know, there's a huge difference. Now if we look at some video quality, if you're a blogger, you know, as you can see, it keeps the color of my skin, and on the Mi 9T it kind of washes out, very pale, kind of gray looking. And as you can see, it's almost like night and day. So very impressive with the Pixel camera. You will take some high quality photos. Now, I don't care how good the front camera is on the Pixel 4. You know, it is a 8 megapixel wide, and you have a 20 megapixel, you know, pop-up motorized. But that motorized, like being able to do this, like for somebody and them to see that, every time I do that, you know, people want to see the phone and all that kind of stuff, and that's just really cool. It makes a cool robot sound, and I know most people don't care, but I just think that's so cool. I could do that all day, like pop the camera up and down and watch a little red light. It's just so cool. Now you do not have a headphone jack on the Pixel 4, and you do have a headphone jack on the Mi 9T, which I absolutely love. And what I don't like about like these big, you know, flagship phones is they don't even throw the dongle in the box, which is so lame. Another cool thing is with the Pixel 4, you get Bluetooth 5.0. You get Bluetooth 5.0 also on the Mi 9T. You get NFC, and you also get NFC on the Mi 9T as well, which I really love. So you can see how kind of even these are in specs. Now for the battery, you have a 4,000 milliamp battery, and you have a 2,800 milliamp battery on the Pixel 4. Battery life is like night and day. Basically, this will get you through a day. This will get you through a day and a half. So if you're like, you really need good battery life, then go with the Mi 9T. You even have the fast charging up to 18 watts. You actually have 18 watt fast charging on both these phones, which is pretty nice. Now the Pixel 4 also has wireless charging, which could be a big deal for you. Usually for me, plugging it up is faster. It usually charges up faster, so I really don't care for wireless charging, but that could be a big thing for you. So in conclusion, I just think if you don't take photos like that, then you really don't need the Pixel 4 unless you really want a smooth Android experience. I gotta say, you know, stock Android is extremely smooth. It almost never glitches. Very smooth with that 90 hertz. But you know, the MyUI actually has a lot of customization options. So if you're into that and customizing the phone and all that stuff, and you know, playing with all these settings, you'll be fine with that as well. But you know, if you're not into photos, then you don't really need to spend the cash, because the rest of the phone is kind of subpar. Besides the dual speakers on there, I love the speakers, some of the best, but the design of the phone and the screen kind of being really small with the big, you know, forehead thing. And on the Mi 9T, you know, you can unlock the phone with the pop-up face, but you can also, you know, just use the fingerprint scanner as well, which I really love. So thanks for watching this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one.